Coming up after the break, lending a hand.
So what will it take for these retro characters to succeed in the new millennium? A lot of cash, apparently. American Greetings will spend $10 million to market Care Bears to a new generation of kids. The bears will hit stores this fall. And American Greetings is hoping for a big return on their investment. To reap maximum returns, they'll license the characters to be featured on everything from lunchboxes to T-shirts and even cell phones. Joining me more to talk about a successful rebirth in the land of licensing is Andy Krinner. He's the publisher of the Licensing Book. Andy, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
When we're talking about licensing, we're talking not about the manufacture and sale of the principal product, but all of the offshoots from that?
You're talking about property owners that will license out and try and get a major toy licensee on board, usually first, at least in the entertainment area. And then there's a whole slew of ancillary product that will be covered, as you said before, anywhere from lunchboxes to cups to stationery.
Oh, so it does include the main toy that people go and buy?
Absolutely.
I noticed you responded when they showed He-Man, and we were talking about 6 to 12-year-old boys for that. We were talking about 3 to 16-year-old girls for strawberry shortcake. And I know that that's a strong market everywhere in the economy right now. The tween girls, as they call them. This is where you want to be.
This is where you want to be. And the retro properties right now that they're bringing back is fashionable with today's world. You know, it's a different place we live in. These are safer properties that are out there. Retailers are willing to take a stab at them, especially when you have properties that back in the 80s made hundreds of millions of dollars in merchandising.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cabbage Patch Kids.
Ninja Turtles also came back, and there you're talking about $1.5 billion back in the late 80s. And the man behind it, and the company, 4Kids Entertainment in Al Khan, he was the man that originally brought out Cabbage Patch Dolls with Coleco and...
Coleco? Who's heard that name in a while?
Exactly, and also had success with Pokemon, so if anybody can do it, that company can.
You know, the way some of us can relate to this is these reunion shows we're seeing with MASH and Cosby, Mary Tyler Moore, we're seeing Star Wars, we're seeing E.T. coming back out. What was so spectacular about the 80s, or is this just a normal course of events where we harken back 20 years?
Well, licensing as a whole probably became popular back in the 80s.
I see.
So you're getting the first run of these retreads, again, if you want to call that. But I think what you're seeing now is more retail looking for less risk. They're looking for properties that have done well before and hopefully will do well again.
How does this affect new development? I mean, are we going to see retreads taking up, would you guess, at a proportion of the licensing field in this kind of department, this kind of area?
Well, over the last couple of years, retailers and licensees have taken a back step away from the big-ticket entertainment properties, so trademark branding has become very popular, and right now anything that's got a less risk factor tends to be looked at with a more favorable eye.
You talk about Al Khan. Who does this kind of rebranding? Whose idea is it? Is it the mainstream toy companies, or is it entrepreneurs and venture capitalists?
Well, I think it's both. I think right now you're talking about entertainment companies that are trying to find that next big hit. Again, when entertainment properties aren't doing too well, even though the box offices have been great, especially in the superhero genre, of late, that doesn't always translate into merchandising. But in a case like Mattel with He-Man, that's a company to look at. American Greetings, certainly, and 4Kids Entertainment and Playmates Toys, because they are the master toy licensee for Ninja Turtles, and I think Ninja Turtles has a great chance.
No kidding. All right, Andy, great conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Andy Krinner is the publisher of the Licensing Book. Coming up, great statesman.